Well, good morning, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, and happy Wednesday to you. If you were fortunate enough to stay up late last night in Central Florida, you probably saw a glow if you were looking to the east, and that would have been the Artemis 1 launch, which was absolutely gorgeous. We'll probably chat about that a little bit. That is nothing in comparison to the excitement you're about to have right now as you experience a conversation between myself and Charlie Draper. Now that is a buildup unequaled on the planet normal. But I want to certainly introduce a friend of mine, and that is Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office today. And there you go. There he is, Charlie Draper.
Morning, Keith.
So yes, we referenced that little rocket launch last night. That was an astounding thing. But I tell you, when you stay up that late and it's when it's these rocket launches, there's usually a delay involved. And boy, you realize it in the morning when you get back up and you try to get back to work.
Yeah, but listening to some of the spectators who actually went over there, it was one like none others that they've seen before. It was really impactful. Just rocked the Cape, and I understand Jetty Park was closed because of I guess damage caused by Nicole or Ian, but they had a pretty good turnout anyway, I think.
Yeah, it was I thought was interesting. Like I said, there's always a delay, and of some sort. Typically, there is, and they had the red team. I'm not sure if you caught this. So there was a slight leak. I think around 10 o'clock, they had a slight leak in the fueling of the first stage, the core stage, and so they sent out the red team, and that was it seemed like 3 or 4 people in one vehicle that literally drove up to the rocket with what they made it sound like with large wrenches to tighten up the bolts. So they literally tightened up some bolts, stopped the leak, and off they went. But you want to talk about hazard pay?
Oh yeah, sounds like an ER code blue, doesn't it?
Yes.
Code red.
Well, we've got a few people popping on right now. So first of all, I want to say, thanks for coming on. Let's go ahead, and if it's okay with you, let's make this show official. All right? Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, and this is another one of our Daybreak live shows. And, one of our favorite guests, of course, is Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office. And so good morning, and thanks for being with us again, Charlie.
Thank you for having me, Keith.
I was thinking I put that commercial on, or that little video segment that's got 942,000 pictures of me. But in reality, we could have our Charlie Draper collage video segment as well. It'd be just as easy, since you've been out there doing it in this community for a long time. 1984, correct?
Correct. And really, the community has given back to us in so many ways that you can't even begin to count. So it's the very least that we can do is try to give back to the community. As I said, it's been wonderful to us, and it's nice to have seen it grow since '84. Can't say that I'm particularly happy with all of the growth that we're experiencing and the high traffic density, but anyway, all in all, I'm glad to be here.
It would be an interesting conversation if you sat at if you went to a park and you sat down and just reflected on the community, and somebody sat down next to you and you asked them how they liked the the impact of the growth in the community, and they said they're absolutely in love with every segment of it. It would be an odd conversation.
It would.
So hard to believe, but we are in November, seemingly closing in on the end of the tropical storm season or the hurricane season, and we're right up against the holiday season. You know, obviously Thanksgiving and Christmas are back to back, and you know, I think you probably say the same thing because you're a family man. I know you're a businessman, but you're certainly a family man, and so those are special times and create special memories. But in that, kind of segueing off of the growth in our community, certainly these are some, and coming off maybe some pandemic effect as well. Let's chat and we talked about this. Let's chat a little bit about what these holidays mean, as far as how they impact our community and what you're thinking today, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. I mean, the holidays to me, like most people, mean bringing families together, near and far. I mean, to celebrate a tradition we've been doing over 200 years now, to give thanks for all the freedoms and blessings that we enjoy in this great country that we call home. It's predicted, Keith, that travel by air and vehicle this Thanksgiving is going to be greater than the pre-COVID Thanksgiving Day travel. So, and I'm sure that's the same with Christmas as well. So, and if you think about it, it's a little wonder, with so much pent-up demand from the days of isolation because of COVID. So we already know, as we discussed, there is so much growth in our community, not counting the holidays. I mean, you've got subdivisions sprouting up. You've got roads that were designed to accommodate traffic 10 and 20 years ago. And it's totally different. I moved down here in 1984 from New York, and I love the rural community that we once were. And the 2-lane Pleasant Hill Road at that time was 2 lanes, and John Young Parkway at that time was called Bermuda Avenue, and it was just a quaint, small town, and it was felt so connected. Reminded me of the town that I grew up in, Delaware, Milford, Delaware, where everyone knew each other. You could ride bikes to school, and you didn't have to come in until the street lights went on. And so, but some of the things, some of the safety tips I'd like to share with you and your listeners. Number one, if you are one of those who have tried this in the past or doing it for the first time, just be careful. And I'm talking about people who want to put their turkey into these deep fryers. Number one, make sure you don't stuff it first. Okay. Number two, make sure it's thawed before you put it in the fryer, and you want to make sure that the fryer is on the outside and well attended. There's stories of people being injured by this method of cooking the turkey. I understand it's delicious. It's retains the oils of the turkey, and it's great. So, but just be careful. And as I alluded to earlier, we already have crowded roads, and so we're now entering a season where people are flying into our community. They're driving into the community from distances far away, and you're adding that, and not only you're adding the vehicles to the road, but you're, people who aren't familiar with the roads.
Right.
Okay. And so for this, for your own safety, whether you're driving a car or riding a motorcycle or riding your bike or just trying to cross the road as a pedestrian, we really got to keep an eye out. Sorry about that. one of my cats. But so you have to be respectful of others around you, and it's such a great time of the year. There's going to be a lot of not only traffic out there, but a lot of shoppers. I mean, when you think about it, Black Friday, I know Black Friday is different than it was years ago, but still people are they enjoy that tradition of getting up and getting on the road at 4 a.m, and you just can't be too careful. I mean, it's a great time not only for family and friends to come together, but it's also a great time for the holiday festivities. St. Cloud, Kissimmee celebration, SeaWorld, Disney. There's so much that is going on, and I just hope that everyone thinks about staying off your cell phones while you're driving. Drive like a motorcyclist, 360 degrees. I mean, you've got to keep an eye out, and hopefully everyone will get home safely. So that's the main point I wanted to make.
And my son and I were in St. Cloud off on 192, and it was funny when you said, I was reflecting back when you mentioned John Young Parkway being Bermuda Avenue and all that. Most of those roads were two-way. That's it, 2 lanes.
Right.
Same thing on US 192, which people can hardly remember. And again, I've lived here a long time, not as long as you have, and my gosh, on Sundays you come back into St. Cloud. If you ventured into St. Cloud on Sunday past 6 p.m., there was nothing open. But we were just the other day, my son and I had just washed our car, and we were going to make a right to go towards Kissimmee on 192. And typically at the end of the day, most of the cars are coming into St. Cloud going east. We saw just as many people going west. And I said to him, that's not normal. I think that is people going out trying to get ahead of this holiday shopping thing already. And I think we are really in for quite a busy shopping season. I mean, that may be great for retailers, but it certainly increases the dangers like you were kind of referencing. And you also mentioned pedestrians, and you and I both have been able to see the organization that comes into the areas for crosswalk safety, that the Bike Walk Central Florida and Best Foot Forward. It is amazing how we are going to get through this holiday season with this many people coming into the area, so many vehicles back on the road, and then pedestrians trying to navigate those crosswalks. It is going to be a busy challenge for sure. I agree with you.
It's a recipe for disaster, unfortunately, but that's why we've got to be so mindful and respectful of other drivers, of pedestrians, bicyclists. I mean, we have to share the roads with others, and we can't do it being distracted, So just be cautious when you're out there, whether you're a regular user of the roads because you're local, or you've got guests coming into town who are not as familiar with the roads, and people who want to go ride their bicycles and they're just not familiar with the area. So as you and I have witnessed in the past, what brings to my mind was when we did that Best Foot project over in St. Cloud, and we were standing at the intersection of Michigan, I think it's Michigan Avenue and 13th Street or 192, which is, I think that's a crossing for a school zone. And you had traffic just whizzing by. I'm talking 50, 55 plus miles an hour. I mean, it's just, it's mind boggling. And it's little wonder why more people aren't hurt. But, I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to get to their destination and then get home safely.
Sure.
And in order to do that, you've got to be aware. You've got to be mindful of other drivers, and you've got to be respectful. So that was an eye opener, that program that you and I were involved in, and not only in St. Cloud, but Kissimmee and other parts of Osceola County.
Sure. Yeah, we've been in like you said, Kissimmee, St. Cloud. I think we've also gone to Celebration, and on the BVL side, Point Siena side, pretty much throughout the county. And so let me ask you this. So from, your business is going to see the results of some of these challenges, certainly, as far as folks unfortunately being injured or having situations take place. What is the predominant thing we're seeing happening as far as in the accident realm? Are we seeing car to car, car to pedestrian, car to bicycles, car to motorcycle? What's the predominant challenges that are happening out there?
So I think the predominant challenge is car to car, because there's more of them.
Yeah.
As opposed to car to pedestrian or car to bicyclist. And it's just, I wish I knew the answer.
Yeah.
But the environment, it's we're like, I don't know, an army of ants heading into work and then heading home from work, and we've got these blinders on. We want to get there quick, and it's just, these rear end collisions were probably the most prevalent, but people just not paying attention and not being respectful of other users of the road. I mean,
right.
I live, as mentioned earlier, I live out on Pleasant Hill Road, and it takes me, what used to take me 12 minutes to get home, now takes 45 to 60 minutes to get home or to get into work. It's like a parking lot when you get on the Pleasant Hill Road. And so you just have to plan in advance. This sounds novel, but try to leave earlier than you would. If you have to be someplace and you've made that trip dozens of times and you're always 10 minutes late, hey, hello, maybe just leave 10 minutes earlier.
Hey, now there single-handedly you have brought Central Florida a solution.
It's common sense, but yeah, and living out east of St. Cloud, what that traffic has been like. I mean, if going from St. Cloud to Kissimmee, if you get stuck on Neptune Road and there's an accident, you're cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be there for a while.
Sure.
So, and I think the last feature teacher, you're coming from the east side of St. Cloud out to, I think, Point Siena, where we were last. And I think it took you an hour plus to get there. It's just, it's a, different challenge.
I think if you really come down to it, I think that is the issue, and it is frustrating to some folks. Unfortunately, and it really comes back. It may not be the perfect scenario anymore, but like the point you're making is, leaving early just doesn't just get you there on time. It also gives you that additional safety. And I say that to my son all the time. We realize that it's not what it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. And I think the human beast is stubborn and wants to hold to the fact that you go to from St. Cloud to Kissimmee takes you 20 minutes. No, it does not. It takes you 20 minutes to get to the turnpike if you're lucky. But holding on to that does make you want to drive more aggressively, and then you end up in those accident situations. And I try to say that to my son. He's going to Valencia. He's finishing up Valencia, going to head to UCF. And, you're going to interface with lots of other drivers. And so he leaves so early that and I ask him why. He goes, well, because it's just more peaceful. You're not worried about it because you've left early. So,
right.
It's safer. It brings you a little more solace, and you get from point A to point B without raising your blood pressure. Hey, let me do this while we're talking about, there's a reason why you are aware of all these things, not just from a driving consumer perspective, but again, from a professional perspective. Why don't you, for those people who don't know, why don't you go give us a couple points of what Draper Law Office is and has been, what it has been, and just to give us a couple minutes overview, if you don't mind. I've got a few photos I'll share while you're talking.
Okay, yeah. So, as you alluded to earlier, we've been Draper Law Office has been in Kissimmee in Central Florida since 1984, and we take pride in the fact that we focus on only two different areas of the law: personal injury, wrongful death, which would include automobile accidents, pedestrian accidents, motorcycle accidents, slip and fall, trip and falls. And then the other area is our family law matters, which include divorces, visitation, child custody, division of debts, and things of that nature. And we feel that by focusing on just two areas of the law, it makes us more knowledgeable about those two areas, because we don't need to worry about A through Z. And so we have been right across the street from the courthouse since 1986, and right next to Grissom Park there in Kissimmee. We have an office in Orlando as well, and so we're very proud to be a part of the community. It is, as I mentioned earlier, the community is. We have benefited tremendously by being a part of the community, and hopefully by giving back to the community shows just a small token of our appreciation to the Osceola County. And so if you should ever need us for any of those two areas, as we're right across the street from the courthouse, our telephone number is 407-846-0075. And even if you have a legal question that doesn't fall within one of those two categories, give us a call. Chances are we can refer you to an attorney who specializes in that area of the law. And so even if we can't help you directly, if we can send you to an attorney that's very knowledgeable in that area, then we're more than happy to do so. We do that daily. I'm telling you, we get lots of calls. So anyway, so we're grateful for Positively Osceola to invite us to be a guest on the program and to share this information with your listeners. So.
Well, we're glad you had the time to talk to us again today, and we get to hang out a little bit. You and I do for sure, and we as we engage in the school district, I know a lot of people will mention the word community and terms like giving back, but my hat's off to you, because you were doing it before we were doing it by a long shot, and most others as well. So we appreciate, we've got one more, I think we have one more featured teacher professional support staff event with Dr. Deborah Pace, I think in November, if I'm correct. Yeah, we've got another one. And then we chill in December, if I'm correct.
I think it's the other way around. I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's been canceled for
Okay.
November because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and we're back on in December. So
Gotcha. So that means that in December you will don the red Santa hat. Am I correct?
There's a good chance that you'll see me.
That's great. Well, we do appreciate that you. This is why my wife schedules things, by the way. Well, we do appreciate that you would come on today, and I appreciate the heads up and the reminder to the community and even to myself as well. The wonder of the holidays, certainly the family-centered and joy-centered nature of the holidays, but also the potential dangers that are out there for all of us. And so we appreciate your reminder this morning, Charlie.
Yeah, and we want to, on behalf of Draper Law Office, wish you and everyone who is a part of the community or visiting our community a safe and very happy Thanksgiving.
Awesome. Well, same to you as well. And then I know you'll be spending some time with the family, so enjoy every minute of it, okay?
Thank you, and you as well, my friend.
All right, brother. All right, again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Charlie Draper, a friend of mine who is the founder, the man himself with Draper Law Office in Kissimmee. If you're looking for legal advice, certainly, as he said, if he's not able to help you directly, he certainly is somebody you can count on for correct information and referrals. So look for them directly. Again, Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Charlie Draper of Draper Law Office, together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, Keith.